This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved. Right, hang on, let me just talk. Yeah, brilliant. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. We Captain Kangaroo is having technical issues. So what we're doing, Bartleby's just moved on my thing again. We're going to start off the session, and if he gets everything sorted, then he will join us. If not, we won't start the new adventure without him, because that would be cruel. And we can say things like, oh yes, he can go first. So, but what we are doing is that we will be, who did 100 D1, 1000 D1000?
Gotta go big.
Did you notice there was
go home?
There was actually a 1 in that.
There's also a critical 1000 there at the end near.
I know the only reason I know there's a 1 is because it comes up red. And so if you scroll up and down, all of a sudden it's sort of like, there's 1000.
Oh, yes. One little
there's
one
2 1s.
Oh, right. Well, there's a green 1000.
Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, so welcome back. We're back in fantasy world. So we've been playing Mythras in space, called M Space, for some time, and for 2 adventures, actually, about 8 weeks. And so we're coming back to the fantasy setting, and I'm really looking forward to playing the fantasy again. I just need to switch my mindset away from pew pew and computers, etc., back into more fantasy, etc. Obviously, Longshanks CPG is no longer with us. He's not dead or anything. He's just decided that he doesn't want to play. So we've got 3 characters, but we do have a new character that will be joining us tonight. It's going to be a bit like Purdy. I'm going to play the character and pop it in. And then if we expand at any point, then people can come along and play that character. Or if need be, we can make up a new character, and that's it. Now, I'm not going to spend, I hope this is all right with Medivac and Mr. Pickles, rather than talking about, oh no, we'll do it. We'll do it. You introduce who you are and who you're playing, just so you remember before we actually start. So off you go, Mr. Pickles.
I am Mr. Pickles, and I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our team's theist. And Mythras, that's essentially our healer, and Bartleby loves the healing aspect of it. He serves a goddess called Amriel, who is all about the healing light, doing good things. It's related to the twin moons that orbit around the planet, I presume. And she is the light moon goddess. Bartleby has a lot of skills in commerce. Since he comes from a merchant family, he's got some healing skills that are practical and not as divine. He's known for his knowledge of monsters and local history. and he plays a lute pretty badly because bandits once bashed his hands into bits, and that's how he stopped being a bard and became a priest. Well, joined the priesthood. Working towards it.
Yeah.
He's known for wanting to protect those who are impoverished. That's one of his passions I'm seeing. And another one is that the guards in town just seem to love him. He's always helping people out, and he's a friend of the guards.
Do you have a passion? With friends of the? What's that at?
58.
Wow.
You've had me roll that before to see if guards, like when we approach them, if they recognize me as, it's that one guy who keeps throwing parties.
And they actually recognize him more than Hengist. Who was Hengist of the guards.
I never thought about that, actually. Yeah, Bartleby is more well known than Hengist, who used to actually be in the guards. Yeah, I remember that. So, yeah, anything else that you want to say, Mr. Pickles? Anything else?
My savior of the slums passion is at the same level as my friend of the guards passion. And that's all I wanted to share.
Brilliant.
Throwing the mic to you, Medevac.
Go for it, Medivac.
Why, thank you. Hi, I'm Medivac, and I play Hasra Khan. He is a nomad who hailed from the steppes of northern Odes. He went out one day to track down a band of warriors that attacked his village. And when he came back, his tribe had moved on because they would have.
It sounds as if they just want to get rid of you.
Warriors. Yeah, we'll be right here when you get back.
We'll be right here. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere.
So with that, he set out on his own, and he's been helping people on the way to Odes. He's been going to villages and helping farmers find lost sheep or children or anything that's really lost. And when he got to Odes, he went to Count Bastion. He met this wonderful crew of people, and Count Bastion sent him on to help at Eubin Falls to send a message and to join in to help about what was going on there.
Yeah.
And during that adventure, he didn't lose his arm. He tried to save or tried to take an item away from an evil member. And when he touched this item, he turned his arm all black. You'll notice Hasra always has his arm covered up now because it is still a black mess under there. One day he hopes to have it cured, but it's not stopping him. It's not affecting him in his abilities one bit. He can still throw a spear into combat. And that is his choice weapon. He likes to use spear. It's a short spear, and he also likes to use a scimitar once he's got rid of his spear. He's very adept outside. He is the group's go-to tracker, forager, and wilderness expert. He's also part of a group called the Brotherhood, who do keep track of what's happening in the various biomes and how nature and people affect those areas. And there's a delicate balance here where they monitor these things. They try to make sure this balance is maintained, but no matter what happens, they do maintain a record of what happens. And yes, they're out there, but you don't know they're out there. It's a very
that's a good.
I do have a couple of passions, like Mr. Pickles just said that. I never even thought about talking this. He does have a distrust of magic, but this is purely because of what Gulliver did to him in a sense. He teleported him in a weird way, and it did things. Whereas Mr. Bartleby has explained things in detail to Hasra and how I'm going to do this and this is what happens, and to an extent, so has Cyrus.
Yeah.
In his wide open way, but to have something thrust upon you, and if you've not seen that before, it does give you the heebie-jeebies.
Whenever things are thrust upon you, I think there's a possibility.
To have your body coalesce into like a pool of water and then appear somewhere over there, and then all of a sudden reappear back over there, it's not good.
It's not good at all.
He's also got the selfless protector, and that is because one day he threw himself in front of Bartleby. Was it you, Bartleby? Was you, Bartleby?
It was, yeah.
Many times you saved me.
I chucked myself in there with no thought of my own safety. Unlike my other character, which bumps his head every 2 seconds. Hasra does not. More importantly, I do have a lump hefting. protection.
I forgot
I
about
can
that.
I can turn a pig like you've never seen. That's me.
Oh, you are the last
That's very humbling.
yeah, you're the last one now. That's it.
I know, it's true.
And I
Oh God.
and I think Bartleby, you're now the longest serving character.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I it's
3
strange, but I
weeks.
guess I am.
Yeah, because I think Hasra came after Bartleby.
I did, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So and then Cyrus even after that. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
anything else you want to say, Medivac?
Hello. No, that's thank you.
Brilliant.
Everything.
So the last time the party were together, they came across a really nice man that everybody mistrusted greatly called Christoph. And there was a huge amount of excitement in Lindo, which is the place where they hang out. That's their main base for adventures. And there was a bit of the Hairy Hobgoblin, which is their base, that Hasra actually provides food for to get a bit of cash on the side. And that was sort of like went into decline. And the party very well and very nicely sort of like sorted that. They had a big battle with something called a dream stalker at the end. And they really coped very well. And for once, in a long time, I think, a lot of spells came together. And I think there was pain absorption or something like that, and armor and shield spells, and which made them be able to take quite a beating before they would die or take damage. So yeah, things went really, really well. And at the end of last adventure, they all settled back into their normal way of life. And when we return to them, they have some experience rolls to use up. Hasra has a cottage somewhere outside Lindo. He owns a wagon and an oxen called Brutus. That's the oxen's called Brutus, not necessarily the wagon. And he has his own cottage out there that he goes and stays in, one with nature. Bartleby, of course, is a member of the church in Lindo, and as part of that, he gets board and lodgings at this church. Cyrus, of course, is a member. He's a sorcerer, a magic user, and he's a member of the Order of the Phoenix, the Red Order, and he also can kip at his order's house and has lodgings there. But Bartleby and Cyrus and Hasra, although he doesn't really know about it yet, can increase their rank in their order. So Bartleby is a theist in the order of Amriel, and rather than spells, or in his case miracles, having levels, i.e. you need to be, this is a 5th level spell, this is an 8th level spell, what you do is that you advance up the order, and as you get further and further up the order, you change your title, and therefore you gain access to more spells. So at the moment, before we just do this little bit, Bartleby will be a initiate. I think that's right.
Going from initiate to acolyte.
Okay, to acolyte. And in order to progress, you need to have a whole load of skills of 70 or above, or even higher further up. And you have to do some tasks. You have to do a few tasks. And last time, before the adventure started, Bartleby was doing sermons, and he was preaching to his congregation, and these went quite well. Obviously, being friends of the guards, friends of the slum, people were coming along and actually participating. But Bartleby really needs to do something special, okay? And in order to get that title of acolyte and access to more spells. Now, luckily for Bartleby, there is somebody who's willing to sponsor you, Bartleby. Now, you will know that you have a mentor at the moment, but they are at this level. They're at initiate level. So when you actually progress to acolyte, you have a new mentor. And in order to get there, there is somebody who needs to sponsor you to actually get you to progress up. And you'll be pleased to know that there is somebody who is willing to sponsor you. And just to let you know, we'll do a bit of Bartleby, then I'll come back to you, Hasra, do a bit of you, and swap backwards and forwards. So we're not we're not taking up the whole hour, just one person talking. So there is somebody who wishes to sponsor you. Her name is actually Margot Aura. That's actually her name, and she is an acolyte in the order. She's an acolyte of Amriel, and she is. You haven't been aware of her, Bartleby, but you've seen her as service and places like that. So you've actually seen her around, but you were quite surprised that she actually sent a message to you to say that she was willing to sponsor you. She doesn't seem to be the sort of acolyte who would spend her time in the slums, for example, or helping the mild and meek of Lindo. She's very well dressed, very turned out, very proficient and professional as an acolyte. And Bartleby was quite surprised when you were called to her rooms, her office, in order to discuss what you need to do. So you arrive at her office. It's after morning prayers, and breakfast and everything has been done, and you've carried out any other duties that you have, and you arrive at Margot Aura's. It's a very plush office. You know, it's a sort of office that you really think that if she sold everything, you know, your slum dwellers could last for years just on what she has. And after, I presume you'll probably knock before you enter, and she ushers you in, and she gets out from her rather lavish chair that looks rather throne-like, and she gets out and she comes over to you, and she's a sort of person that when she shakes your mangled hands, she actually uses two hands to shake your one, if that makes sense. She's sort of like, oh, well, hello. And you do notice that she doesn't actually flinch when she feels that your fingers are incorrectly formed or mangled. She seems to have a manservant with her that seems to be carrying some kind of parchments and things like that, and he stood over to one side, and she ushers you in and gestures to a less lavish chair for you to sit on opposite her rather large and very broad desk that has a lot of paraphernalia on it. And she gets you settled, and then she says to you, Bartleby, I am so pleased that you are willing to actually progress and actually increase your ranks to us. How is it going?
I've done my best to bring Amriel's light to this beautiful city. I very much wanted to rise and be granted greater access to the knowledge of the Twin Moons for some time. I thought that perhaps taking some sermons might help, but I don't know if that's why you've called me here today.
Well, actually, Bartleby, I have some very exciting news for you, because I am prepared to sponsor you from the rank of initiate to that of the acolyte. I hope you understand how honored you are.
Oh, very. I have to ask though, why me?
Well, your reputation goes before you. I am very impressed with the way you interact and the way you participate. I'm just going to let Captain Kangaroo in, and then I need to leave a meeting. Is he in the waiting room? Can anybody see? Yeah.
I see him now.
Right, hang on then. So I need to leave the meeting. Continue, leave.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hopefully
Hello.
it works.
Wake up. Well done. Well rescued.
Oh, and you're in the right place as well.
Oh, perfect.
Home.
Are you tired, Captain? You sound.
No, well, I am tired, but that's not that. It's I'm just like exhausted with having to figure this one out. I had to get my computer to a place where I can connect it to an Ethernet cable, and yeah.
There's a
Well-
nice
well done.
background. I love the background color.
Purple's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's the same color as Medivac's t-shirt. He looks like you planned it.
I did. We worked it out together.
We're in the same room. You just can't see me.
Yeah. Well,
It's about
Cyrus, you can just chill for a while.
okay.
Bartleby is just doing his advancement from initiate to acolyte, and then we'll split it up and come back for experience rolls. We haven't done that yet. So Margot sort of like says that she's really impressed with your devotion, your commitment, and she would be very keen to sponsor Bartleby to go to the next level.
I 100% accept anything I can do to spread the light of Amriel.
Well, I am pleased that you mentioned that, because as you are aware, in order to progress, you have to demonstrate that you are able and devoted to the order in order to progress. And I've been having a word with your previous mentor, but also the high priest herself, and we've been talking about a possible way forward for you. Now, please do not be offended by this at all, Mr. Bartleby. We have arranged something to help. We are very aware of your excellent work that you do for the, shall we say, less fortunate people of Lindo. And we really appreciate all that work done. It's obviously, you have a natural affinity to yes, those people. But surely you must understand that there are more other groups of people within a congregation of Amriel, and as an acolyte, you have to be seen to be an equal and accepting of all members of society.
Yes, I've worked with many of different cultures and groups within the city. I have friends within the nobility. I've helped the merchants. I see all of them as my equals.
That is very good to know. The other thing that you might be aware of is that the church relies on donations. It relies on donations in order to maintain not only its congregation and to preach Amriel's good word, but also for the upkeep of the church itself, various expenditures and things like that. So we have come up with a task for you. and we would like you to go out to the merchants, the nobility, those of higher status than the lowly people that you normally associate with, and share the good news of Amriel to them, and in exchange for, shall we say, earthly donations.
Yes, I follow what you mean. The church definitely does need coinage in order to do all the good that it does.
Yes, very much so. But we understand that you have this affinity to the less fortunate people. So I have agreed with the priest and high priest that you will go out and accept and to gather donations from the wealthy for the church, but we will take 20% of that and use it within the within the slums. So we don't want you to think that we are oblivious to your work there. Would 20% be a viable and accepting contribution?
It sounds wonderful. I'm honored that you considered all the things I've tried to do. That it's very much Bartleby's very flustered in her presence with the 20%.
Yes,
She just kind of stammers out of control.
it should be quite an interesting lump sum of money. Of course, we will return to you to discuss how you would like this to be shared among the less fortunate. But yes, so I suggest that you go forth and over the next few weeks and, encourage the donations from those who are able. And with that, she seems to usher you out to go around Lindo and to gather information, donation, which we'll come back to in a little while. Is there anything out of your 10 experience points? Are you spending it all on spells, which would be, if it's a miracle, it would be 5 points. If it's a folk magic, it would be 3. Are you spending it all on spells, or do you wish to use any of it on skills?
I'd like to use it all on miracles.
Nice.
Once the greater secrets of Amriel are taught to me, or open to being taught to me, then
that's
I'm gonna dive right on that.
Brilliant. Okay, let's move over to Hasra then. Now, Hasra.
I'll be right back. I need to grab my notes from
not a problem.
Way back then.
Yeah, not a problem. Hasra, you have 10 experience points. Can you remember?
Indeed.
And it's not a test. I'm more than happy
42
to tell you. Can you remember when you visited the Brotherhood before the last adventure, or the adventure before that? There was something said to you about a beast. Do you remember that?
I was about to my wife to stop opening my Haribo packet so I could unmute. Yes, I do. The Jaguar and I went to a trance, didn't I? Into a tent and had a trance.
Yeah, and
it's something weird happened with smoke, and I saw this Jaguar came and spoke to me.
And there was that side with the Jaguar spirit, but there was also something that the Brotherhood were concerned about. There had been reports of a rather large beast roaming the countryside, and the beast had not been seen, but only the remains of its kills. And the tracks had revealed that it was probably the size of an elephant, and the weight of an elephant, which is big and quite nasty, maybe even bigger than the Zugtug that you encountered. and you were instructed by the Brotherhood to be vigilant, about any sightings that you might have seen. Now, you haven't seen anything, but there was this discussion that many consider it far from natural. There was talk that it wasn't a natural creature. It might have actually been a manufactured or conjured creature. Okay, that's all right. I just wanted to remind you of that as we go into the real.
Thank you, because I'm flicking through 2 books of notes.
Yes. So Hasra has 10 experience rolls.
I do.
So how would you like to use them?
I would like, the first thing first, I'd like to spend time with the Brotherhood. I want to go see the Grand Master, and I'd like to have a chat with him about my experience that I had in seeing this thing happen where I went to this tent and I spoke to a creature who was part of my necklace. And I do have this jaguar tooth on a necklace there, and it says it was part of that. And I want to know how I can speak to it more, because it was trying to guide me. And Hasra is feeling a little bit alone. He's all right, he's got his friends here, but that struck a chord with him.
Yeah.
And he really wants to find out more. So he wants to talk to the Grandmaster and see if he can teach him the ways of being able to communicate.
Yeah, and
more.
Yeah, very much so. And we'll do a bit of role play in a second. So what you will need to do is learn a new skill, and which is called trance. And this allows you to be put into, well, it allows yourself to put yourself into a trance. And in doing so, gives you access to the spirit world, as so to speak. So this is very much the realm of the animist that participates and looks for spirits that either support them. There are evil spirits around as well. Bartleby actually got attacked by a haunt once at the bridge, and the whole Brotherhood are quite pleased that you've made this association and that you are like willing to engage in this. And there's a whole load of practice trances. So you go through a series of activities that allow you to calm your mind and to see into the spirit world. And you know this. The Brotherhood relies on certain narcotics to support the movement into the other world. So because you want to learn a new skill, then that will cost you I think, is it 5? 3.
3.
Yeah,
yes,
3 experience rolls. So I think I've opened Animist for you. So it should have the base spells in. The base, it's power and constitution in there. So, and the first thing that we want to do is you're going to practice this skill, and we want to see how easy you slip into the trance to see what's going on. Now, just to let you know, as a player, not as as animists become more attuned, they can make the journey to the spirit world a lot quicker, and they can converse with the spirits or even draw a spirit to them. So you're currently a follower in the rank in the Brotherhood, which means that it takes you about an hour to actually get yourself into that trance-like state. And in order to help you to make that journey, then there's certain narcotics are used, but also the other members of the Brotherhood can assist you with that. Right. So let's just see, because of course you might be really naturally affinity to this and have a natural affinity. You might just roll now, it comes up as a critical, in which case you go, damn, I'm in there straight away. So, or it
until
could be
next time.
Yeah. So roll your trance. You will go into the trance. I just need to see how easy you're going into it. Now you can use a point of luck if you wish.
No. Do you know what?
That would really show how good you are.
Yeah, no, but it's his first time, and it would give you a luck point.
It would, yeah. But the chance of having any battles today,
yeah, true. No, do you know what? With his past experience with his necklace and talking to the Jaguar there, and when he had his little dream thing earlier, I think I will use luck point in reverse. If that's okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And the doors are suddenly bashed down. Can we roll for initiative? No.
Oh, I love you.
So you sort of like slip into this trance-like state, and you're in a very small room, like a small wigwam, and the air is thick with the smell of incense and smoke and things like that. And there's various sounds as you do it. And it takes you a while to get this, to practice this seeing into the spirit world. And you suddenly become very much aware that you don't open your eyes to see into the spirit world. Your eyes are firmly shut, and yet you are the spirit world reveals itself to you. And I don't know if you've seen Watership Down, the film, the cartoon film, but there's a
weird sort of like
there's a bit in it that there's this almost like black rabbit shape keeps sort of like moving around, and then the face of the rabbit appears and then disappears, and that's a sense that you're getting as you are entering this trance. But it's not actually a rabbit that you see, it's this jaguar that you see, and you're really not sure, but it's almost like when you get into this trance and you look into the spirit world, it's almost as if it comes bounding up to you, and it seems somewhat playful, rather than the jaguars that you are very much familiar with, that are very cunning and stealthy and very serious. This one seems quite playful, and you're not too sure why or how this happens, but you get this feeling that sometimes it's even smiling, even though jaguars can't smile at all. And you notice that it doesn't talk to you, but it's almost like communicating with you, using empathy. So you get this feeling of being very happy
Yeah.
as it sort of like flips around you. And it's that weird state that you are almost like dreaming, but you can see behind you as well. You know, you almost like got this omnipresent view around you all the time. And the jaguar spirit sort of like hops round you and then hops up to you. And there you definitely get this feeling of being elated, this sense of happiness with this jaguar. Yeah, go for it.
As it's bouncing around, I want to, and I will survey the fields around, and I want to put my hand on the tooth necklace, and I want to look at this jaguar, and again, I will say in my mind or out loud, "Are you him?"
And it's as soon as you touch it, the jaguar jaguar spirit takes up a different stance, and the spirit seems to swap round. So instead of looking at you, it's looking outwards. And the body sort of like fades in and out, and you definitely get this feeling of seriousness, of this determination, this feeling of protection. And you get the feeling that once you touch it, it's as though the spirit is almost like guarding you.
Sort of like almost activated in the sense that, yeah.
You know, and
I understand, yeah.
And the feeling totally changes. And just to let you know, once you take your hand away from it, it sort of like almost like turns back to be playful. And when you ask the question in your mind, the jaguar spirit responds in that happiness mode, that sort of like positive mode, that is jumping around and sort of like enjoying life. And you know, you sort of like grab your the necklace again, the tooth, and instantly it goes back to that guarding phase. You know, and you very quickly get this. You don't think it's anything you're doing that causes it. You know, there's no power in you. It seems to be more that the spirit knows that if you touch the amulet, then its job is to guard.
Yeah, and I suppose looking at my past actions, that would be exactly right.
Yeah. You know, and so you have this protection spirit. Now, just to let you know what that means in game terms, because you will have control over this rather than, because I'm likely to forget it. That's what I'm saying. So it's something that you need to be aware of, so you can actually remind me at times. So everybody in the Brotherhood has a spirit ally, a fetch, and you actually have, I think, well, whether or not you chose it or it chose you, you're not quite sure, but you have this spirit now that is able to perform certain abilities. Now, just so you know this, so jot it down somewhere. It has various ability scores. So its intelligence is 18.
Yeah.
Its power is 14. And its charisma is 9. That's the only attributes that the spirit has. It has an intensity of 2. Okay. Now it does have one ability at the moment, and just so Hasra is aware of this. As you get better and better and better, you can actually sacrifice your experience rolls to allow it to learn new abilities. Okay, so I'll send you a list of what it can do. Its thing that it can do at the moment is an ability called warding. Okay, and what that does, and it might fit into various things that are happening. Your Jaguar Spirits has the ability to ward off hostile magic from you. It can't do it for anybody else. It can only do it to you. It will automatically block any spells that the magnitude is less than or equal to twice the spirit's intensity. So it will automatically block any spell that has a magnitude of 4 or less. Cool. Okay, so people like Cyrus, if you remember, he has to plow sorcery points in to increase the magnitude of his spells. But it will be, if it's 4 or less, then that will not, it will automatically block it. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because I will forget, cast a spell at you, and then you just need to say, will the Jaguar Spirit block it? Yeah. Okay, well, so just, go for it.
So my thing is, Hasra has only ever touched his necklace in the most dire state.
Exactly.
And that's the way he's only ever done it. So he's not a frivolent.
Yeah. So, and what we're going to, although the fetch can automatically block it, you are going to need that, you are going to require that touch. Okay. Yeah. Just to let you know, the magic is blocked. It is not dismissed. So if somebody cast a spell at you, it will be blocked, but it's still operational. So it's not like a dispel magic. It's a bit like armor. You've virtually got magical armor that will stop.
Right.
So if, for example, Bartelby's shock, is that a what's that intensity of your? Is that a folk magic or a
folk magic?
Yeah. So all folk magic have an intensity of 1. So can you see that would not harm if needed? That could be blocked.
Yes.
Okay. So that's your little Jaguar fetch. Now you can name it if you wish. It's completely up to you.
Well, that was my next thing. While I'm in there, I'd like to sort of say, what shall I call you?
And the spirit doesn't talk to you.
It's more visual, again, empathy and
emotions. And you get this feeling that it's sort of like, it's almost like this carefree attitude, this laissez-faire. It doesn't seem to be bothered about it. It seems.
In which case, I'll reply, I will call you friend.
Yeah, and the Jaguar Spirit sort of like jumps around in circles for a while, and then comes back up, and the face comes into view again, and sort of like smiles, even though jaguars can't smile, and you get this feeling of contentment and everything like that. Just to let you know, after this, you do wake up with a blinding headache, Hasra. You just sort of like think,
and the real sort of like need to eat lots of treats.
Yes. Obviously, you've had this feeling before. And just to let you know, when you touch your amulet, as well as it feeling warm, that you felt in the past, you also feel that you feel very reassured when you're touching it, and sometimes you touch it absent-mindedly, and there's sort of like, and sometimes you actually touch it and think, did that have fur? You know, and then as soon as you sort of like concentrate back on it, you know that it doesn't. It's just like a bone, a tooth.
Yeah.
You know, just to let you know, it's not the tooth of the jaguar.
No.
Yeah. So that
like
so that would be your 3 skill points.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to work on, or shall I go to somebody else and then come back later?
I mean, I've got my things written down, but by all means, I will go to somebody else rather than me stealing all the time. So, yeah.
Okay, then. So, Captain, do you know what you're spending your experience points on? Your experience rolls?
Yeah, mostly. There is actually a spell or two I probably want to pick up.
Yeah.
But I just want to verify what's because on the sorcery spell doc sheet you have, which they might not have access to, what was the percent, like the average percentile that you need? Like you need like 5 skills to be like novice or apprentice or so.
Yeah. Okay then. So you mean for your order?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for the ranks of the order. So to be, what are you at the moment? Well, I'll tell you what you need for each one, and then you'll know whereabouts where
to aim for.
Yeah. So you won't. You sort of like your basic one is a novice, and that's just sort of like done. The next one up is an apprentice, and for that, you need to have. You must know at least 5 of the order's skills at 50% or more.
For apprentice, okay.
Yeah. Now the next one up, which is this one. Hang on, I'm just moving from one screen to another. Is an adept. Okay, then. To go up to adept, you need to have. Must be a dedicated member of the cult for minimum of 3 years and must know at least 4 cult skills of 70 or above. Now, what we do, we sort of like dismiss that yearly thing because it just means that we wouldn't play for like a year or something like that. So we tend to focus on knowing at least 4 of the cult skills at 70% or more. You also need to do what Bartleby's just done. You have to provide a service or give a gift or something like that. So what are your
So let's try to figure. That's the one we're going to try to figure out. Which ones I have that are high enough.
Okay then.
So here's the thing on my combat skill. My battle dancer combat skill includes unarmed in the skill itself. That's one of the 3 things. It's glaive, unarmed, and throwing dagger.
Yeah, so that is just like a combat skill.
Okay, but would that, because
that doesn't count as 2 skills.
Unarmed.
It just classes 1. I'm just trying. Okay. I'm just trying to find my.
You're fine.
My sorcerer thing that I have all the skills on. You probably have it.
If you want, I can just share it on our Discord. That way.
Let me just. I do have it. It's just a matter of.
I just sent it to you.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you. Right, I think I've got it. Yeah. So yours is combat, unarmed, perception, or willpower. Okay, then. So that combat and unarmed, if they're the same skill, that's 1. So what is that up to at the moment?
That's at 86.
So that's fine. So perception.
Perception, I think it's like only in the 40s though, which is what I'm going to focus on these rolls.
Willpower.
See if I can get to that point. Your willpower I have at 58.
Okay, so that, and then law strategies and tactics, I think you have.
Yeah, which is at 50%.
Yeah. So your combat unarmed is done. That's above 70%. So it's perception, willpower, and your lore of strategies and tactics that would need to be. So would that be 4 skills? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need 5 to get to apprentice. That
No,
50%.
you need at least
for apprentice.
Apprentice. Okay, let me just scroll back. So you need at least 5 of the core skills, but you've got 2 in 1. So it'll just be like 4 of them, 50 or above. Okay,
perfect. So I'm gonna focus on perception, getting that above 50, so that way I can at least become an apprentice, not be a complete laughingstock of the Phoenix Order. So I might throw probably 2 or 3 rolls into perception.
Yeah.
Just make sure I for sure get it. And then I think I'm trying to remember which exactly it was that I wanted to create. It's 5 points to learn a new spell, 5 experience points?
It depends. If it's a sorcery spell, yes, it's 5. If it's a folk magic spell, it's 3. The same as a new skill.
Where was it? Protective ward, I think it was. That's the one.
Is it a sorcerer's skill?
It is a sorcerer's skill, yeah.
Yeah. And is it available for your your order?
For Phoenix. Yeah. For the Phoenix Order.
What did you say it was?
Protective
ward. Oh yeah. I've got it here. Let's just have a look. Using combined component to meld them together. Its purpose is to form an extended ward to which spells such as damage resistance, spell resistance can all be bound. Okay, so it's an idea that you are going to use the sorcerer's unique power of combining spells together. And therefore you can cast it up to 1 meter per point. So it's like it's a bit like when you're camping or something like that. It puts this protective ward around you. And then, so say, for example, you could put like damage resistance or spirit resistance upon it, and then it wouldn't actually, I would have to oppose the roll. When cast, the sorcerer decides in which direction the ward is permeable, if any. So you can say it's fine for people to walk out, but not to walk in.
That's the question I actually want to ask on this one, because I guess I am using some creativity on this one. Could I use it as essentially a force field if we're like in a fight? For example, if I use damage resistance on the ward, attach damage resistance to it, would it be able to block, like, say, arrows or whatever?
Yeah, that
up until a certain point.
Yeah. So therefore, you would say at that point that you're going to cast damage resistance as part of the protective ward, and then it's going to be this amount of meters away to get the dome, and that you basically, what you're saying therefore is that it protects coming in.
Yeah.
So if anything came in, then it would automatically have that damage resistance on. But you could just as easily, if you had spell resistance, you can combine it with protective ward and put them together. So protective ward is a spell, but if you just cast protective ward by itself, you wouldn't.
It means nothing.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's nothing. You have to cast it with something. So yeah, that would be absolutely fine. Notice you have to inscribe it.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So you have to make symbols or runes into something. The ward must inscribe upon a solid surface. Its sigils or lines are drawn, scratched, or etched along the perimeter of the area to protect. So it's not something that you can do. It's not sort of like arrows are coming in, whoa, up goes your shield.
I have to take a second to like write stuff down on the floor.
Yeah, so you're going to have to, and that would dictate the time.
Yeah.
So if you're doing something that, say, for example, is 100 meters by 100 meters, you know, you would have to transcribe that out. And you would probably put in your backpack things that you might use to do it on a variety of surfaces. So say if you're going to scratch it into wood or the ground, then you might have some kind of trowel or something kind of like a chisel. Or if it was on other solid surfaces, you might have things like ink or whatever you want to use to actually inscribe what it is.
I have actually an idea on that one. What if I use like dice? Like I throw dice on the ground, and then those would be the perimeter of.
You would, but if it's going to be like 6
like the inscriptions would be on the dice. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, if it's going to be like, say for example, the sheer size of it, so it can be as much as 6 meters wide. And then 6 meters long, and so it's not it's not that you would have to throw so many dice.
Yeah.
That it's protective ward is meant to be that spell that sorcerers use to protect something or someone. So say for example a castle was being attacked. Then they would inscribe it along the walls, or a lot of the time they put it on, say, their house or their accommodation or their room, and therefore they link it with other things. It's a nice spell. I like it. I think
I just don't know if it's maybe something I should get the second, and maybe I should get a few more spells to attach to it, such as magic resistance.
Spell resistance, yeah. I mean that.
Spell resistance, yeah. I
mean that would be. I think the more spells you can add to it, the better.
Yeah, so I might want to wait to get that when I actually have more spells to add to it. Because right now, the only thing I have is physical resistance, which is fine. It'll protect us from a whole bunch of sea devils attacking us at the last second when we're camping. But at the same time, if I add magic resistance and whatnot to it, I think it'll be a little bit more of a more umph to it.
I think spell resistance is really powerful. That and neutralize magic if you don't already have it.
That's hold on, that's a thing. All right, but I can't get it with my. That's why I couldn't use it, because I actually did want that, but I can't get it with my specific.
Oh, because
order.
It's not open. Yeah, so that Gulliver had that because he's of the blue order. Yeah. So okay, it's past. So let's take a quick break and then come back, and we'll do any rolls. Medivac, you still got some points left, haven't you?
I do, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
And see what Cyrus wants to do, and then go back to Bartleby as well to see. So Bartleby, yours will just be a bit of role play with your promotion, and then if you succeed, you can have the spells, because I think you know which spells you're going for.
I do.
Yeah. And then we've got Cyrus and Hasra, you can spend the rest of yours, and then that's it. So, well done, Medivac, for engaging with the chat, because I was so busy.
Sorry, I knew there's no spoilers, so I could jump over there and have a quick look.
No spoilers at all. I'm just thinking how I can use this luck point. That's what I was. But Bartleby has to do some rolling.
Stretch it out.
Bartleby has to do some rolling, so I might use it then. So, okay, brilliant. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. We'll be back about 20 to the hour. And come back then when we finish off some experience rolls. We'll catch you all in 10. And I'll put the Be Right Back screen up. let's get on that. Everybody is.
Let me get my dice.
Ooh, buddy.
Here we go. Okay, so Captain, still with you with Cyrus. Is there anything that would you like to spend your money, your experience rolls on willpower or?
So, willpower is above the 50% threshold I need. The only thing that's below 50 is perception. So I'm going to focus 2 to 3 rolls on that, see where I'm at, and then the rest I'll put shaping, invocation, and if I have one more left, endurance.
Brilliant. Okay then. So what's your intelligence?
My intelligence
should be quite high.
Yeah, one would hope, right? Intelligence, I guess it's 12.
12.
No, wait. There's something going on here because it says my strength's 24. That's not right.
It's probably because you have.
I changed with somebody. I think what happened.
You added 14. You added 14 in the other because you Bartleby put might on you.
Yeah, I think it's what it was.
Yeah.
All right, so I took it off. Right.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember being that beefy.
No, we don't. Okay. We remember you being. We remember you being small,
but not frail.
You are the espresso of the group.
So, is it willpower that you're working on? Is that what you said?
Perception.
Perception. Okay. So, what is your perception at the moment?
Perception currently is. Where are you? 44.
44. So you're going to roll 1d100, add on your intelligence, and you need to get 44 or above to succeed. So this is skill roll 1.
All right. So is it 1d100 plus 12? Just copy and paste in that so I can do it. Ooh.
Yeah, brilliant. So therefore you need to roll 1d4 plus 1. And that will be how far your perception goes up.
2.
Well, no, 2's better than a fumble. So that's gone up by 2. So what?
46.
46.
All right, I'm gonna do it again. Do another 1d.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, mama. Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Very.
Getting closer, but yeah.
I know that was a little mean.
1d4 plus 1.
There we go.
Yes.
So 46. No, okay. So I'm at
51.
51 now. Yeah, perfect. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that perfect on that one.
Okay.
Next one I'm doing is shaping, which shaping currently is. Shaping is currently at 67.
67. So you need 67 or above, and this will be. Right, so that just goes up by 1 point.
All right, well that's something. And then the next one is going to be
down. Yeah.
Next one's going to be my invocation.
Yeah,
which is currently at 63%.
Nice.
So
63.
Come on, baby.
Yes.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
There's 100. Okay, so 1d4 plus 1. This is when it just comes up 2.
I'm gonna lose it if that's the case.
No, that's nice.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. So that'd be 40.
So you got 6 rolls left, I think.
Well, I'm taking 5 getting magic resistance, so I'm only have endurance.
Yep.
Next.
Brilliant.
Give me some of that special skills.
What is your endurance?
Endurance is currently, I think it's at 39, I think.
Oh, right. Should be fine then.
All right. Come on, baby. Give me one last.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Ooh. I'm taking all the really bad numbers for when we play later, right?
Exactly. I'm
Alright.
quite happy
picked
for
on
you
my
to use it
rolls.
up now.
All right, ready?
Yeah,
All right.
that's
me above 40.
nice. That is good. When you say Matt, you mean spell resistance, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
resistance. Yeah.
So that will take up your other 5 experience rolls. So you can pop that down. Provides you protection against magic. It blocks incoming spells with a magnitude equal to or less than its own. So if you remember, your magnitude is something that you can put points in to increase it. The negative side of spell resistance is that it cannot discern between friendly or hostile magic. Thus, someone severely wounded under its protection may need to terminate the spell or be prevented from receiving the magical healing. Okay. Spell resistance affects targets with a size up to 3 times the intensity of the spell. So I really like this thing about Mythras. So you would have to increase the intensity of it to affect bigger things. You can't just do it. It doesn't cost the same amount of magic on, say, casting it on yourself than it does to cast it on a castle, you know, and things like that, or your own abode or your room if you ever get it. Brilliant. So you can have you got the spell description and everything, so you can copy it?
Yeah. I'm just gonna copy and paste it into it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, then that's Cyrus all done now, ready for action, and let's move to Bartleby, who you are going. I seem to remember you are going to collect some money.
Yes, I am.
Brilliant. Okay, then. So, let me just get the document up that I need.
Time to be rejected very harshly.
Okay, so what we're going to do with this is that we're going to use the idea of the extended conflict from M Space. That's what we're going to base it on. And you have a choice. So your role is going to be your devotion.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. How devoted you are to convince. And what's the main two stats on devotion? Power and intelligence, is it?
Let's see. Devotion is power and charisma.
Power and charisma. So take an average of those two to be your dice pool.
That would be 13.
13. So, okay then. So you have a choice. Okay. How high do you want to go with the guild, with the merchants, to get the big cash? Okay, so you can, there's various levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. If I tell you that 1 is effortless, you know, their skill is about 30%. Difficult, their skill is 70. Very difficult, their skill is 90. Heroic, their skill is 110. And impossible, their skill is 130. Okay. Now remember, they also have a dice pool. The effortless one is 6, but the impossible one is 28. So whereabouts would you like to go?
Well, I want to do a good job. I think I'd like to go for the one that has the 70s.
Okay.
The very difficult, I think you said?
Yeah. Well, difficult. Very difficult. Difficulty 70. Very difficulty is 90.
I'm going to go for the difficult one. I got to at least get something back to the church.
Yeah.
But,
okay, then. So their role is... let me just call up my dice roll. Okay then. So so you can start. So my pool for that is 16. Okay, so I'll start off with 16. So roll your devotion first.
Karate chop.
That's 34. Yeah. So let me roll mine now. Okay, so I fail quite miraculously there. So I take the full 6 points, because if you remember, we roll a 1d6 now. So I take all 6 of those because I fumbled dramatically. Okay, then. So this is the next round. So you get another roll, and so will I.
Super Amriel Strike.
37 is my roll. 55. Okay, so I actually win that. So you are going to take...
I use a point of luck there to switch that to a 73. Would that make me the victor?
You would be, yeah.
I'll throw you a point of luck.
Nice. Okay, then, so you need to roll a d6 now for me to take the damage.
And here is my counterpoint. Oh.
Ouch.
Weak counterpoint.
Yeah, I'm down to 9 if you're interested. Okay, then. So next round. So you're busy conversing with a serious amount of guild people. This is not just one of them. You probably organize some kind of gathering and talking around and trying to convince them to give money to you. Yeah, to the church. Sorry, not to Bartleby.
Yeah, because the church helps the community and keeps it clean and safe. And
exactly.
Work with the guards. Here's my next roll. Yeah.
Okay, 47. I fail my roll with an 80, so I take another 1d6 from you.
Big money counterpoint. 3.
3.
Brings you to a 6.
6, and you are probably still maximum. Okay, then.
Out of 13, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, roll again.
The power of Amriel.
Ooh,
that was an easy roll. That would have been a beautiful critical.
It would have been. 45, so I win. Now, you can get me a point of luck and make me re-roll it if you wish, because it doesn't matter, or you can take the hit as somebody argues their point back at you and you stumble for a moment over the discussion. What would you like to do?
I think I'll take the hit and roll with their disagreement.
And you take 4 points of damage.
I'm down to a 9.
Okay, and I'm down to a 6. Okay, next roll.
Have you guys considered the snacks I put out?
Ooh, oh.
Have you?
Captain.
This is when they get like a 7.
Chocolate hobnobs worked.
Captain, do you realize that your cat's turned into a dog? I just wanted to... I'm sure it was a cat beforehand. Right, so
she grew up.
You can't beat that, can you?
If you get a 7, that'd be a superior critical.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
I would need
like
to crit and get like a 2 or above.
2 to 7 are the rolls you can get to beat me here.
53, I don't. So I take the full amount.
Oh.
No.
And weren't you at 6?
Yeah. So I take the full amount, which means that Bartleby has actually won the debate. And because you were taking the skill of 70%, you get a grand total of 7,000 silver pieces for your church. Just to let you know, if you had gone for 90%, you would have got 9,000. 110,000, 11,000, sorry, so forth and so on.
I'm so glad that he's such a corrupt priest.
Yeah. I'm assuming Bartleby's going to hand this all over.
Oh yeah, they gave me that generous 20%. I want to get access to certain miracles to help the community, like curing people's blindness. I don't know, putting everybody's bodies back together, Cyrus.
Yeah, brilliant. So
do you have any height miracles you have in your sleeves?
Enlarge.
Nope.
Quick growth.
Yes.
I could actually get a miracle that would help your fertility.
Obviously that's
yeah, you put your inwils. You're the one who put that as an option.
I'm just, it's fine. Trust me.
Don't you have a little fertility totem thing you're running around?
That's part of the Church of Amriel, is that they
just dip
can
in
help
vinegar and
fertility.
Oh yes, that's when Bartleby was buying a gift for someone, and it turned out to be a fertility symbol.
It was on point, really. My church.
It was on sale.
Okay, so which two spells are you going for? Because I know you've had quite a bit of discussion.
The first one I'm going for is heal body.
Okay, so that allows you now to heal serious wounds as well as light wounds or normal wounds. Yeah.
And it hits all the body parts at once. So this is just a complete wipe the slate clean. Unless it's a major wound, then hang on. And I would also like to buy Pacify, which allows me to make an area of people less belligerent.
You do realize that has a spell component, reagent.
Does it?
Yeah, you have to put a dummy in your mouth. like a pacifier.
Oh.
I think over there you called them pacifiers, but we called them dummies. Yeah,
that makes sense. I see the reasoning behind that now.
Suck on those dummies.
Yeah, I am serious. No, I'm not.
The people all stopped, and they're fighting and arguing, and there's like, what's the priest doing?
Yeah.
Hold on. No more argument. I need to have answers here. This priest is being weird.
Are you inviting Cyrus and Hasra to your graduation service?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Inviting all of my friends.
So all the guards are there in various rows at the back, and there's a few slumming people that they've allowed just to stand at the back, but they've left the doors open. And there's quite a regal procession as you go down, and you are anointed with holy water.
Go on, Bartleby, we know you do it.
And
I'll probably lean over to Hasra and like, usually in our graduating ceremonies, there's a lot more like orgies. So this is kind of disappointing. This is a very large orgy. Yeah, but
he seems happy. So I'm in white. He's in white. I hope. But
yeah, he looks like he's pure.
Yeah,
anyways,
very pure.
It looks like he's ready for his wedding day.
Well, I saw a reel on Instagram that said somebody was saying about sex before marriage, not having sex before marriage, and the lad stood up and said, "But if you never get married, it's not."
Try before you buy. Sorry, everybody out there.
So you get your spells, and you are Bartleby, you get invited to the after dinner celebration of you becoming an acolyte, and many people come up to you and say, "Well done, acolyte Bartleby," this, that, and the other. And it does roll a perception check for me.
I forgot how clueless Bartleby is.
And you're sort of like in the party, and you overhear two of the initiates, two female initiates, talking to each other. And you just sort of like catch this in the background, and they seem to be talking about somebody who has just bought a new, rather splendid house. And it is, they talk about that they've been there, and it's really, it used to belong to a merchant, and now it's this acolyte's house, and how wonderful it looks, and this, that, and the other, how fantastic. And you're listening to this out of half an ear when Margot appears. She's been at your service right from the beginning, but she sort of like comes up to you and says, Mr. Bartleby, or should I say Acolyte Bartleby, I have some friends for you to meet. And she sort of like takes you over to some other priests, the same as Margot is, and so because she's a higher rank than you, and so like introduces you, and there's sort of like two guys there, two priests, Margot priest and you at the acolyte, and they enter into a little bit of conversation, and they say, oh Margot, your new house, oh, it's so fine. So, and she said, oh yes, she says, you know, it's very expensive, and as you can see from my robes here, these were created especially for Bartleby's service, and you sort of like look at them and think, wow, those are rather spectacular. And she sort of like, the priest sort of like say, oh, thank you so much for the kind donation, Acolyte Bartleby, that you submitted to the church. And, you know, we thank you for that donation. Would Bartleby like to say anything?
Yes, Bartleby would say, I appreciate the opportunity to serve the Church of Amriel.
Hey, so like, yes, you are more than welcome, and we are honored to have you, you know, in our ranks. It's obviously somebody who is so good with coaching and encouraging people to remove their money, you know, remove money from them. And we are so pleased that we must say that that amount of gold was quite impressive. I mean, I think you are probably the biggest gold gatherer. And somebody sort of like says, well, there was that strange man who did, I think it was 4,000. And he sort of like says, no, well, Bartleby here raised 5,600 silver coins for, and they'll go, wow, that is absolutely fantastic, Mr. Bartleby. So well done, so well. You obviously have a great talent to encourage donations.
I just think the people see my devotion to Amriel and the church, and it's dare I say, contagious.
And one of them sort of like says, I really thought that you were more in tune with the lowly people of Lindo.
That's easy enough to see why. I'm often trying to help them, but I try to help all of Lindo equally. If there's any dangers, I have friends who can help solve problems. If anybody needs my services, I'm always there to lend a helping hand.
And they sort of say, oh, that would be brilliant. And maybe one day you can raise the money to help your the people that you like to hang out with. Yes, maybe you can raise some money for them.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant idea.
Yes, I think that is absolutely fantastic. And the party continues, and everybody seems very, very happy. And yeah, anything else you would like to do?
Bartleby is just thrilled to be able to ascend to this level in the church, so he just enjoys the party to its fullest.
Yeah, and you sort of like enjoy that new paid respect And the last conversation that you hear just as you're leaving the church is there's two other people talking away, and they seem to be talking about you and how nice it was for you to donate some money to Margot's cause. And they sort of like, you sort of like walking past and they're busy talking about it, and they see you and sort of like immediately shut up. But there was definitely some talk about you donating to Margot's cause, etc., etc.
I mean, I assume she took all the credit for or a lot of credit there. It's Bartleby isn't here for the glory. He's looking for the solution to the problem.
Yeah. And
I think he's also probably keeping tight lips about the obvious corruption in all this.
Yeah. And over the course of the weeks, you piece together what has actually happened. You did raise a whole load of money. Some of it went to the church. 80% of it went to the church. But none of your money that you raised went to the people of the slums. The other 20% was used to line Margot's own coffers.
Yeah, I had a feeling that might happen.
I love that hypocrisy died.
But no,
It's been good over thousands of years, let's face it.
The cost. This is just the cost to enter into the church and get access to the true scripts of Amriel, and the benefit of being able to heal and pacify crowds is going to be well worth any of that corruption.
And you will look good. You will look good when you do it in your nice golden robes.
Yeah.
And your nice 47-room mansion.
What won't Bartleby do for promotion?
Murder.
Yeah, but my thing is,
we've definitely murdered a bit.
No, I can't. It's not even if I wanted to murder. I heal them with my hits.
Sorry, I meant murder by proxy, I guess, in this situation.
Murder by proxy. Okay, Hasra, I think you still got some points.
I do, yes.
You 7?
7 indeed.
Yeah.
So I would like to roll off with my lowest skill in the whole world, insight.
I thought you were going to say dancing.
Dancing. Hang on, no, let me just check on this. No, dance is the same actually, but yeah. Okay, so insight, because Hasra's been looking at people and he's been trying to read them, and he doesn't understand.
Hasra's turning into Minsk.
Yes. He's been trying to learn these things. So here we go. So his insight is 20.
20. So 1d. What's your intelligence?
12.
12. Okay.
So
nice.
83. That's a nice one. Yeah.
So that's 1d.
Oh, sorry, plus 1, isn't it?
Yep, so that's 5. Yep.
So I'll just put a plus 5 on there. So it's now 25. So if we roll that again.
Yep.
That's
enough. 1d4 plus 1.
Let's put a there. Then I'll keep typing it in. And roll. Oh, 2. That takes me up.
Better than a poke in the eye with a blunt stick.
Blunt stick, yes, indeed. So plus 2. Right. He's also going to have a go because he likes to train his combat all the time. So he's going to be having another go at his combat. My current combat is 107.
Whoa!
Oh yes, I need a Captain Kangaroo roll here.
You need 100. Well, they're slightly less.
Oh,
92!
No, so close yet, so far.
So that goes up to 108.
No, it's not 92. Sorry, it's 80. Yeah, 108 is going to go up to yes.
Yeah.
Plus 1. So his influence, which is 43.
Okay.
He wants to do 2 rolls into that. So let's see how we go.
Nice.
That's just 1 point.
Yeah.
+1. And the second one is +1 again. Influence is not his strong suit.
Have you got two more left?
I've got 2 left. So one is willpower, which is currently at 42.
Yeah. It's now 43.
43. And my last one is my lovely perception, which is at 92. Oh,
yes!
Now a bit more. Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
90.
That's
that's a,
five,
that was a
97.
good one that end all of us at. Yeah.
That was
brilliant.
That was
That was
Yeah.
really nice.
Okay, so that brings everybody to the end of their experience roll. So that's all done and dusted. And I think what I want to do next is that I want to introduce you to 2 things in the adventure. And let's start off by moving you to the Hairy Hobgoblin here. Deleting Hengist.
He's at a royal ball right
Yeah,
now.
Bartleby, do you want to sit, Cyrus, do you want to sit next to Hasra, or are you just going to leave him over there and keep your current positions?
I'll sit next to Hasra.
Yeah, you're sort of like buddies, you two now. Yeah, move
Me
yourself
and
over.
Cyrus sitting in a tree.
Now
Yeah.
I'm all alone.
There you go. There you go.
I think
I'll
Larry,
move
you
across.
anyways.
I'll move across your Bartleby. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Why did I sit there?
Oh, yeah, but you'll have your back to the door then.
Oh no!
Look at that.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I've never understood why you all sit at this end of the table.
I know.
I wouldn't.
Fine. I'll move over here.
Yeah, let's move.
I like to be the center of attention. Oh no!
Okay.
Oh, the Hairy Hobgoblin, where we
Small
get
child of
up to
Allah.
shenanigans.
So, okay then. So let's, before we go any further, let's introduce the new character. So you know about him when you actually start the next adventure. And you sort of like have been chilling out, you've done nice things, you've trained up, etc. And you're to that point that you're awaiting a new job or something to do. You've relaxed enough and enjoyed the relaxation, but now getting a little bit fidgety that you want to be doing things. And it's interesting that while you are in the Hobgoblin, not late at night, about 8 o'clock, you notice from where you're sat that somebody enters the Hairy Hobgoblin, and this person immediately attracts your attention, mainly because of how what he's wearing and how he sort of like maneuvers himself. He's got quite impressive armor on. He's got a shield strapped across his back, and his weapon appears to be an axe, a one-handed axe. His armor seems quite ornate. You can probably see on his token, you can zoom in if you wish and see him. I've just got it blown up on the screen for the stream. He does have a helmet, but it's attached to his belt at the moment. He's not wearing. His axe is in a leather. It's like a piece of leather that it slips into, and he looks quite young. He doesn't look as young as Gulliver was, but you figured that he's probably in his late teens, early 20s. The armor makes him look quite big, as in bulky, but you do notice that his face is quite gaunt looking, and he has white hair. It's sort of like just resting on his shoulders, and it's sort of like cascading over his armor. He looks almost like deathly pale. He looks like he hasn't seen sun in a long time, and that's the only part of him that you can see. His hands are gauntleted. He's got iron armor on most of his body. He has less armor on his legs and on his arms, but he looks quite robust. And he comes over to the actual the bar, and talks to Basil, and he directs them across to you, and he comes across to your table, and quite unexpectedly he bows, with not like a folded over bow, more of an acknowledgement, a nod of the head. And
this is when I will give him my drink. One more, please. Try to get it on. Try not to get from the bottom of the barrel this time, though. Thank you. Anyways.
Yeah, and he seems to look puzzled, if anything, as at you, and he says to you, Cyrus, he says, "And you must be Cyrus."
Who's asking?
My name is Ulrich. My master has sent me to you. And he looks at you, Bartleby, and says, "The infamous Bartleby, it is an honor to actually meet you.
Hey, why am I infamous?
Your deeds go before you."
Wouldn't infamous make them bad deeds? It doesn't matter, Ulrich. If you're coming to serve Cyrus, you may as well join the table.
Is Basil your master? Who sent you?
My master sent me.
You said, "Christoph, I'm going to pee my pants."
We like
Get
Christoph
that
now.
bucket ready.
Who sent us to say hi to us? What are you doing here?
And my master has sent me to you to learn from you.
Specifically. That makes sense. It makes sense that he would ask you to learn from me specifically. Yeah.
May I ask, who is your master?
My master is Master Vex. And you would be. He seemed to have... Ulrich seems to know Bartleby and Cyrus, but he doesn't seem to know who you are, Hasra.
I am just my name is Hasra. I just somebody who likes to frequent this place.
Are you part of the famous group?
I would like to say that yes, these people have accepted me into their kinship.
In which case, I am here to learn from you as much as the other two.
Not equal amount, like a little bit, but mostly. Okay, it's fine.
Sorry, Darth just said in the chat, Hasra, you're not famous enough.
I know that much is true, Darth.
So, what are you here for? Like, are you here just to watch us do things and drink and whatnot? What's going on?
My master has sent me to accompany you and learn from you.
Well, it's kind of a bad time. We're kind of on a dry spell right now. We haven't really had a job since Pier One over here has little was it graduation Sweet 16, what was it?
Yes, and I was really honored you showed up.
Well,
You
I
know,
thought there was gonna be more alcohol. But
the
obviously,
pleasure is ours, Bartleby. You deserve what you've got. It's
it was
amazing.
just it was only alcohol there was communion wine, and that's pretty much watered down as it is.
I don't think there was any alcohol in it at all.
Correct.
Actually. I think that was just grape juice.
and high spirits.
I think even grape juice is pushing it, slightly fermented, and that's it. All the priests would be on the floor somewhere.
Unless you have something in mind or heard of a job, we're pretty much, just sitting here bullshitting.
He sort of says, I have faith that a job or opportunity will reveal itself to us. My master is seldomly incorrect in his actions or my actions.
You're sounding a lot like Bartleby over here too. Just as optimistic and it will come. Have faith. It's our destiny. Stuff like that.
Inwils. With the name Vex and after he said faith, is there any chance I can roll my lore history to see if I can think of any? Because that's sort of a strange name. If it might be. Here is my lore of history.
Nice. Roll it again.
Lore of history.
Because I'm using a point of luck.
Can do.
Use a point of luck reversed.
I'm gonna get it now. Oh, it still worked though.
Yeah.
Still got standard.
You haven't heard of Master Vex. You are not too sure whether or not Master Vex was a nobleman or a king or royalty or a leader of an order or brotherhood or anything like that. But from your knowledge, you're not familiar with the name of Master Vex at all.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to use that knowledge and ask, have you traveled far to get to us?
Several months I have been traveling.
It must have been from up north then.
Yes. I believe, Bartleby, we have a lot in common.
Yeah, that's what Cyrus was trying to say.
Yeah, that's what we need, 2 fucking Bartlebys.
Well,
we have our faith.
Yes, and that's a good thing to have sometimes.
Most
chaotic
definitely.
World. Why don't you join us? You can learn that alcohol really messes up Cyrus after a few hours.
I am more than happy to join you, although alcohol is out of the question.
Oh, well, the lesson is that you shouldn't be drinking. You learn the lesson by watching him.
I am happy to watch and observe and see the future unfold.
It'll help this go faster if you bought more drinks for me.
I would be honored to buy you drinks, but
Man.
unfortunately, I carry no coinage of my own. And he turns to you, Bartleby, and says, we all have restrictions that we need to follow.
What church do you serve?
I do not serve a church.
God or goddess?
I only serve my master.
Okay, well that is I can relate to that. That's sort of a faith of sorts. Your master is infallible, as you said.
May I
Cyrus.
ask,
So go ahead, Hasra.
who does your master follow? When you say Master Vex, it sounds like a powerful intriguing person.
He is indeed.
Was he a king or was he the prince of forgetting the name of that country?
He is most definitely royalty.
Oh. So your master Vex heard stories of Hasra's courage and Cyrus's destruction, my helping of impoverished people.
He never heard of me.
He has.
Bartleby isn't going to say that though.
And Ulrich says, I have knowledge of both yourself, Bartleby, and Master Cyrus. The Hasra is unknown to me, unfamiliar.
Well, he's a good guy to know.
That's tough. Anyways,
maybe we should get you some food. You're looking a little thin there, buddy.
So I can't imagine Bartleby using the word buddy. He saw Ulrich.
Hey, pal.
Ulrich says, food and water would be gratefully received.
It's not Aylesford, is it? You're thinking of.
Say again, sorry.
It's not Aylesford.
Aylesford was the village on the opposite side of the town that was, you arrived when there was an attack after an attack.
Was ship or something? No.
And there was sort of like, there was crows on it.
That's right. But wasn't there like burnt out ships and things and whatnot? No. In the same place? No. Johann, you took Farage. The run to Thursday.
I'll just say yes.
Yeah, just say yes.
Yes. I was just looking for, what I was looking for was the, because I had a picture of Aylesford that I remember having.
I remember the actual town itself, because there's a well in the middle and two buildings, one to the north, one to the east. And we raided the goods place, wasn't it? One was like a church, and the other one was the goods place. I'm sure.
Yeah, hang on, I found it.
But it wasn't there because that's not a capital.
This is Ainsford. Can you see it now?
Mine looks black.
Oh, hang on.
I assumed it was loading for some reason.
Hang on, it's because
we've not got lights on the map.
Yeah, let me do that.
Illuminati.
Whoa!
There we go. Oh, so the building was on the left, not the east.
There was a building on both sides. It was like an L shape.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's.
See, this is what the end of your graduation ceremony should have looked like.
Yeah, with people with their legs chopped off.
Yeah,
for evil churches.
Otherwise, it's kind of just a dull affair.
Yeah. This is the other side of the world almost, well, different continents.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took us 4 days to do a 2-day journey.
It did, because
I was leading.
That was a good time. We had fun in those woods.
Yes, I was in charge. No, it's definitely this way.
And Ulrich sort of like listens to your tales of previous adventures, and you, Hasra, why don't you try your new insight skill that you've been working on?
But I might just do that. So just see what happens.
I've got a point of luck if you want it.
I'm going to look at him and I'm going to study him while he's talking, because he's got such a blank face at the moment, and he doesn't know me. Why doesn't he know me? I don't really care.
You go back to your boiled beetroot or something.
Boiled beetroot on a stick.
And Ulrich, as you carry on talking, sort of like he asks, where should I stay tonight?
I mean, I'm certain we could probably get you a room here.
I would think so too, Bartleby. Because I live in the woods and my tent is only a one-man tent that I sleep in, so you wouldn't be welcome there, really.
Doesn't Brutus sleep in with you?
No,
An
Bulls
oxen
don't
in
sleep
bed with you.
inside.
There's a pig pen about 4 blocks down if you want to.
No,
Nice hay to sleep
in
on.
fact, Cyrus, don't you remember spending the night upstairs in this lovely establishment?
Tied to a
That might-
bed.
that-
Tied to a
To a
bed.
That's right. He was.
That may or may
tied
not
to
have
a
happened.
bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That may have happened. Yeah.
This is starting to feel like a clip show of all of our previous adventures.
Yeah.
We tell this guy, remember that one time where we tied?
And
It's like a Friends episode that had nothing in it apart from flashbacks.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Ulrich seems to be taking everything in, and but seems to be passing no emotion at all. He sort of like eats his food in a very methodical and steady way. He drinks water, and as the night goes on, it gets to the point that the inn's starting to close down, and I would go. I was going to sneeze then, and then I did. Ulrich sort of like thanks you or Basil for the accommodation, and as you sort of like leave and he heads upstairs, he is sort of like, he says, I think it's important for us to be here tomorrow. I do believe there will be a message sent to us.
Okay, well, that's good because we're probably all going to be here tomorrow.
I look forward to seeing you all and learning more about yourself, Hasra.
You will see me bright and early because I bring Basil his meats to eat. I must stop saying that, but it's true. I do. He eats the meats that I bring him.
Yeah.
Yes, I welcome you I look forward to seeing you Ulrich tomorrow.
And he sort of like nods in a courteous way to you. And you all sort of like head back to your normal accommodation. And then the next morning when you arrive at the Hairy Hobgoblin, Hasra, with your food, Ulrich is stood outside. He seems to have something in a small pewter cup. It's a bit like
severed head, is it?
It's an oxen head. If you think it's familiar, when you get a flask and it's sort of like there's got that the top that comes round and has no handle on it like that or anything like that. He seems to have that. He's still kitted out in his full armor. The only difference that you notice that he's tied his hair back, and he sort of like sees you arriving, and he seems to finish off his drink and puts it away in like it's more like a shoulder bag that he carries his gear in rather than a backpack. And he acknowledges you, Hasra, as you walk past with your game for Basil. And then when Hasra and Bartleby arrive, he's still outside, and it's at this point that a bluebird appears just before the stroke of 10. And a bluebird appears, what Cyrus calls a pigeon. And there's a letter, and it's handed to you, Bartleby, and you open it and read it. And Count Bastion has invited you to an audience. There is something that he wishes to discuss with you. But the strange thing, Bartleby, is that when you look at the letter, it's addressed to, it mentions by name, Cyrus, Hasra, Bartleby, and Ulrich. And you sort of like read it, and you're somewhat puzzled about that Bartleby. You're not too sure whether or not Ulrich's been here before. Nobody asked him last night, or whether or not he knows anybody in Lindo, or whether or not he has any other purpose in Lindo apart from just learning from you three. And you sort of like read it and sort of like look up at him, Bartleby, and he just sort of like nods like that. He doesn't smile. He just sort of like nods, and you sort of like acknowledge that. Is there anything, Bartleby, that you would like to say or do before heading off to Count Bastion?
Well, I've after like reading it out loud so everybody who might not know how to read could get the message. Say, so Ulrich, I guess your Master Vex must be in contact with Count Bastion somehow.
I am sure he could be.
Well, lesson number 2, when the Count asks for your audience to be in his throne room,
I agree.
you don't turn him down.
I agree. Anybody of royalty or regal status or commanding officers must be approached with dignity and speed.
Yes. Well, I guess we ought to start walking on over there.
So if you remember Count Bastion's palace, or his where he lives, I've just moved you to Lindo. I don't know what Hasra is doing there with an arrow right next to him, but I'll move him.
He was hiding from people, I believe. You hopped the wall and...
You'll never take me alive.
I did.
Cyrus is going to probably attempt to make them wait so he can put on his best outfit for this.
Wasn't Bastion's here?
Yeah, that's where he lives. You've been there before. You remember last time you were there, and I don't know.
You had a carpet.
Yeah, and there was a portal underneath the carpet, and
Yeah.
you got attacked by some kind of beast. Sorry, are you delaying for Cyrus to go to his order and get something?
Oh, I missed that. I completely missed what Cyrus said. Sorry, Cyrus.
No, Cyrus wants to put on his best outfit to impress the
But
Lord
that
of the Land.
would require not going immediately.
How long does it take you to put on your clothes, Cyrus?
I don't know. How long will it take me?
How drunk are you still?
Well, I went to sleep and then I woke up and started drinking again. So it's hard.
Yeah,
to tell.
roll your willpower. I forgot this guy is a bit of an alcoholic.
Yes.
Oh.
Lesson 1: don't drink alcohol like Cyrus.
Yeah.
It's like me in a game. No.
So yeah, you unless you want to use a point of luck.
No, I don't mind vomiting.
Yeah, so you can see, Bartleby, that he really had too much last night, and he's extremely hungover. And even when he says sort of like, I think I'll go and get my some posh clothes on, he stammers and slurs some of his words. He looks pretty tired as well at the moment.
I'm going to clap him on the back once I've seen him throw up, and I'll say, Cyrus, my friend, I have seen Count Bastion before. He does not care for airs and graces. I turned up with blood splatters on my old great armor, and he never said a thing about it. He was just grateful we were there.
The guards were making fun of that, though, I think.
But
the fact we're all covered in blood.
I want to look my best because I want him to know how amazing Cyrus is.
maybe Cyrus, if you maybe check once in a while to have a drink of water between your beverages, maybe that would perhaps help.
Is there wine in the water?
No, but that's the whole point, my friend.
Oh,
It's
okay.
your best interest. You need to focus on what it, if you are to help us and keep Bartleby alive, because you are the most powerful, amazing sorcerer I have seen in a while.
What's got into Hasra?
Hasra, have you been
Inspiration.
drinking too?
I am completely drunk.
Am I the only sober one at
Cyrus
9
will
a.m.?
chug the
Is
water.
it morning? I don't.
Cyrus
no.
will chug the water. Yeah, for sure.
No,
So
Cyrus, my
thinking
friend,
it's
you need,
alcohol.
it's just, just you sense from tell you this is the most important person. You've not met Count Bastion before. He inspired me. He sent me to meet Bartleby and Gulliver and Hengist the first time I went out. He brought me this wonderful group. So just give him his due and his respect. And Cyrus, you'll be impressed.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so
I'll,
you head off to Count Bastion's castle, fortress, whatever you want to call it. Just to let you know, while doing that, Ulrich walks with you, Bartleby. He's not bothered about whether or not he's at the front or the back. You do notice that certain people give him certain looks. His armor is quite ornate, and it's not the coolest day in Lindo, and yet he's still in full iron mail. Even his legs and his arms are covered with some kind of armor. And the other thing is, he looks so pale. That's a lot of the times people are catching that, thinking, and you hear some people say, "Oh, he's very poorly. Look, he's very ill." And you notice, but I think I told you, but if I didn't, his hair's tied back. It's not long around his head anymore. It's tied back, and just so you know, the knot of the tie is very low down, and you figured that so he can actually put on his helmet, if need be.
Did you spot the image though? Because I thought it's like a whip it around and hit people in the face.
Yeah.
I've got a question
For me or Ulrich?
for you.
Okay.
Are there any people who seem to recognize him, or is it mostly just looks of like, who's this weirdo?
Roll your insight.
I was hoping you'd let me do that.
This is how it's done, boys and girls, and it's not.
It's not quite how it's done.
No, it looks like they just think he's weird.
Okay. Bartleby is satisfied with that.
And you make your way through the streets. Just roll your passion for guards. That sounded wrong.
But it felt so right. Oh, man.
Yeah, you don't meet any of them on the way, and you're a bit disappointed by that.
I have a question for Ulrich too. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and he's sort of like, you were trying to show off to Ulrich your friends were among the guards, and none of them actually come along, or you think that they're coming, then at the last minute they turn down a street or something. Yeah. What would you like to ask Ulrich?
I think this is the appropriate time as we're walking to Count Bastion's to ask him, have you ever been to Lindo or to Count Bastion's court for that matter?
Ulrich says, "No, it is my first time here."
Oh, well, it's a beautiful city we have, and it's an even more beautiful castle keep structure that he has.
And as you get closer, he looks up to it. It is a fine fortification.
It's the crown jewel of our city.
And you sort of like go past the guardhouse, and for once the guards seem to be let you through. It's been announced that you will be arriving. Your names are on the list, and you make your way through over the bridge and through the portcullises, etc., and eventually up to Count Bastion's room. If you remember, it's quite an ornate room. I think I've got a picture of it.
It's sort of open. You can see the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just I thought
Plenty of portals for monsters to come through.
it did.
Don't like it. We don't have anybody who can open portals anymore, do we?
I'm just looking down the list and just found Grandma's hole.
Grandma's hole.
And then just below it, the next one is called Inside Grandma's Hole.
What funny adventures we've gotten into.
I know. It says, do you know, I've got a picture of this. I know I've got a picture of it, but
It's from a long time ago.
it is. But
It's actually far, far away.
there's something here that says stone.
It's deep in Grandma's hole.
Just stop now.
That grandma.
Just
Oh,
oh, come on. Oh, throne room. Here we are.
yeah. I'm this photo, this picture when it pops up.
That's his. I know you can't see it. Is it dark?
No,
Yeah.
black. Sorry.
Pitch dark.
It's like a
There
coal
we
miner
go.
in his natural habitat.
That's what his.
Yes.
And this is Count Bastion. And you arrive.
It's over here was the carpet, wasn't it?
Correct.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was the door that I think Gulliver or somebody ran out of after the
Oh.
person. Anyway, when you arrive at the throne room, you quickly notice that there's the group of merchants, the guildmaster, etc., that you are aware of, are there in attendance as well. Thank you for Iraz for raiding the channel. I do appreciate it. We're in the middle of a bit of a game, so forgive me if I don't sing to you. And you notice that the guild master and the guild merchants of Lindo, the higher up people, seem to be in attendance as well. And it looks like they've probably been seen before you and then moved to one side, and they're sat on chairs. It looks a bit impromptu. The chairs have probably been brought in because it's not symmetrical on the other side. And they seem to be talking hushed tones between each other as you walk in. And Count Bastion doesn't wait for you to bow to him or anything. He gets up and walks towards you in order to greet you. And at that point, Ulrich does do nod of the head bow. Doesn't get down on his knees or anything. And Count Bastion comes over, and he's sort of like, he's never, I don't think he's met you, Cyrus,
He has not, no.
before, but he sort of like says to you, Hasra, welcome back, Hasra. It is good to have you back in my throne room. Be rest assured there has been no removing of carpets. And then he sort of like moves over to you. So
Well, once he says that, I will sort of like put my hand forward and bow my head to him in respect and say, thank you, sir.
and he moves over to you, Bartleby, and says, congratulations, Acolyte Bartleby, I think. Well, congratulations on your new promotion. I'm sure that you will serve the church well in your new role. Shakes your hands, and he leans a little bit closer to you. He says, don't worry, there are no marks on the throne room this time. And he comes to you, Cyrus, and says, one of the Cyrus, I have heard great things about you. Your magic is very powerful indeed.
Yep.
I am impressed.
Thank you. Just stop moving too much. You're moving a lot. Just hold on.
Yeah, and he sort of like, as he's talking to you, he sort of like, you notice he goes, and then says, Cyrus, please be careful. And moves across to Ulrich and says, you honor me with your presence, Ulrich. And he sort of like nods and says, my master greets you. And Count Bastion nods back to him. And he orders some chairs to be brought up. So he goes back to his throne, and you're sat in almost like a horseshoe shape around it. And he says, thank you, friends, for coming and attending this meeting. As you can imagine, you are here because we need a certain situation corrected, or possibly explored and corrected. This has come to my attention via the Guild of Merchants, but something that is very close to my own heart and something that I wanted to be involved in. And in doing so have hired or wish to hire the most famous people in Lindo. Your deeds are well documented and very brave. You are fearless in your actions. And he sort of...
Tell Count Bastion, sir, what did you need us to do?
Is I do believe that you were all promoted and made our recent trade agreement with Errwood for timber.
Yeah,
That's correct.
You also, save the world too, but that's always like the bottom of the list of things, I guess. But whatever, it's fine.
Yes, your modesty amazes even me, Cyrus. It is true what I've heard about you. Very true.
Actually, that reminds me, Your Majesty. Cyrus goes into his inventory and grabs out a gold statue that he got from the Sea Devils.
Ooh.
That he was planning to.
Yeah.
As a gift of our prowess to you and
I imagine Cyrus is stood up now.
Oh, stood up, and he's somehow like immediately sobered up
too. Oscar in his hand.
I bestow upon you, Count Bastion, a gift, and I lay it on the ground in front of me.
And the Count looks at Cyrus and then looks at everyone else, and the guild sort of like go. And
yes, thank you.
And the Count looks back at Cyrus and says, I am beginning to wonder whether you are the right person. And he sort of like looks at the present you have deposited on the floor and looks back up at you all for this role.
Well, we got this from killing all the sea devils that were harassing your trade on the ports. So, you're welcome.
But Cyrus, Errwood is not on the coast.
No, this was the thing before. It's fine. We've been doing a lot of stuff for you. It's fine. Continue. Sorry.
Sorry, sir. May I interject and say, are these the same merchants that asked us to make safe a bridge crossing as a trade point so they could put a settlement around there? And this was a very dangerous, and I think we warned you about this before. It was a very dangerous place, very spiritual place.
Errwood was the you arranged to do the trade agreement, and you had the person from Errwood. His
we got it was just a burning through the wagon bin thingy. Yeah.
We thought
Yes.
Lycans.
I'm on fire. No.
Yes.
I'm alive. No, I'm on fire.
Yes, and then that led on
to the bridge.
No, that led on to the Sea Devils, because if you remember, you had to go down to the pier to meet someone, and this Sea Devil, and this is probably why Count Bastion is looking so strange at Cyrus, who's and anyway, he sort of like says, yes, maybe you are not really the people for this job. And he sort of like looks at you, Bartleby, being a member of the church, and sort of like says, looks at you puzzling, with a puzzled look, and then turns back to Cyrus to say, please, Cyrus, return to your seat. Sit down before, quite frankly, you fall down.
Cyrus will bow without falling over.
Well, let's see that, shall we?
Oh no!
This
is where your acrobatics came from.
Yeah, so you can either roll your athletics or your acrobatics. Just to remind you, you're intoxicated, so it will be a hard roll rather than a standard roll. Yeah, and you you can't reverse that.
Should I re-roll it or no? Or just topple over?
It's up to you.
I think the fall great. Well, it's entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. What would Cyrus do?
Yeah,
Cyrus would topple over and then make Bartleby have to pick him up.
Yeah, so you sort of like bow, and you suddenly realize you're too far over, and you sort of go bang down onto the marble floor. And let's just...
I do have pictures of me doing that.
I do want to emphasize that 44 was rolled twice by the game master and me.
Lucky cool, 44.
Right? I know.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to roll. I wanted to roll this. Yeah, your head sort of like hits the marble floor. You slump over, and Count Bastion's just sort of like looks. You're not too sure, the rest of you, whether or not he looks amused, confused, or irritated. You can hear the guild merchants going, oh my God, I don't believe he has brought a drunkard into the presence of Count Bastion, who's just fallen head first down onto the floor. And Count Bastion sort of like looks, and Bartleby, are you going to help him up?
I would like to. I'll go to help my friend and try and lift him back in his seat, and I'll say to Count Bastion too. So I'm very sorry. We've dealt with a lot of different situations over the years, serving Lindo, serving the Church of Amriel, and some of us are more conventional people, and well, he carries powerful sorceress abilities that have helped us numerous times, and it's these unconventional moments where I found you have to give him a little bit of grace.
And what I think my friend is trying to say, many of us carry many scars, and some of us hide it in various ways.
Hasra, the philosopher.
Just start showing your scars.
Yeah, look at this.
Look at my arm.
This.
The big black arm.
And so some servants rush to your aid, Bartleby, and you sort of like they rush over, then suddenly realize that Cyrus is not that big, and you can probably just pick him up and put him on the chair. And Count Bastion, just to finish the session, says, we need you to actually return, or to travel to Errwood, we have heard nothing from them, and the timber trade has reduced to nothing. And I am building my own ship, and it would be very important for me to get the timber back flowing to Lindo, and you have been hired to do so. We can discuss what you would like as payment next week, and we will leave you there in the presence of the Count Bastion.
Can I just say, sorry, Con.
Yeah, no, go for it.
I'm just thinking Count Bastion sounds like more like Harkonnen because the wood must flow.
Yeah. This
Good reference. God.
Cyrus, you did take 1 point of damage onto your head.
Damn it. Damn it.
Well, I'll clean your head of wounds.
No, I
later.
would make him keep it.
Noggin.
I would
Yes.
make him suffer so he remembers this in future.
Look what you did.
If anything, you're just blaming it on one of you guys actually hit him when he was asleep or something.
So, yeah, so you have now met Ulrich, and you've got an idea where you'll be going next time. But we will pick it up next week when Count Bastion goes into the trouble with Errwood in a little bit more detail before you decide whether or not you will accept the job or not. Just one more thing to think about between now and then. He is going to ask you what you wish to be paid. So think about that before next week's session, or the next session we have. Okay, brilliant. Well done. We've had some wonderful drunkard falling over by Cyrus. Bartleby has been promoted to acolyte of the Church of Amriel at the cost of 20% going to his mentor in not the slums of the people.
And the house.
And Hasra has found a friend in his jaguar spirit.
You got a friend
And in
in
me.
me.
That seems to be accompanying him around from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for coming along and supporting us tonight. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to Iraz for bringing in the raid there as we are playing. I really do appreciate that. We'll see you next week or next time we play. Well, we find out what Count Bastion really wants, and we find out what the players are going to ask for payment. It should be interesting. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay positive. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from there. See you all later, people. Goodbye. This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.